So we're back here with another YouTube video, and today we're going to go over my '01 Foreman 450. It is the manual shift. You shift it with the foot. It's got 5 gears. Dash and all. Still works perfectly fine. Doesn't have a whole lot of hours on it. That's miles. Hours. So, yeah, 566 hours. I guess that is a good many. I don't know for an '01. But the whole four-wheeler is almost in the process of being fully rebuilt. So I got a question on my Snapchat earlier asking what I've done to it and how to get their four-wheeler look like this one. So I'm just gonna start from the handlebars and work my way down somewhat and then go from front to back. So here we go. Alright, so it's got a super winch. This is the switch. I got the one that only comes with, and the only one you can hook up is a handlebar switch. On my Rincon I used to have one. You have an external hookup that would plug up in the front, and you could run a cable out like in a distance and use the winch, but I never used it, so I just got this one. So this is the 2,000-pound super winch on Amazon that comes with a pulley and a D-shackle and all that stuff. But that's the most recent thing I've done. On the front, these are the Boss audio speakers. These are actually my buddies. These aren't mine. I don't really remember what wattage they are. I want to say they're the 650 watt 8s. And then I got the wide open switch out from 4x4 to 4x2, which is, like, in my opinion, is a amazing investment, especially with the differential I got going now. You just click the button. Now it's in 4-wheel drive. Now it's in 2-wheel drive. It's better than having the electric ones because it's an actual cable that runs down to the transfer case and straight into it, and it pulls a pin in and out that locks it. So it's kind of like a manual 4-wheel drive. You just don't have to lock the hubs. I got a rear light bar. It's 30-inch. That is running to this switch here I drilled in the side, which I wish I never did. I got this switch off of Amazon. It just mounts to your handlebars so much better that I'm going to just take the switch wire, like the wires going to that switch, and run them to this, and just have this one for looks, or if I ever want to add anything else, I'll have it. But right now I got metal brake lines that I just changed out that are running down to each disc brake, and I had a leak in my line. It's about halfway down this one, and it started pouring fluid out everywhere, so I went and ordered metal ones. The leak stopped. I started pumping my master cylinder, and then it started to leak right there. I don't know if you can see it in the video. Nah, hold on. Nah, you can't see it, but it leaks right there, so I gotta order a new one of these, and then hopefully that'll be done and I'll have front brakes. Alright, I got, there's so much shit going to the handlebars, but I got 2 pods I got off Amazon that actually turned out pretty good. I don't even know the brand. I just got this style. If you see this style, just get something like it. They're very bright. They're just flood beams. I think they have that little middle little skirt is a spot, but they're pretty much floods. These on the side, they're a spot and flood combo. The side here is a flood. Main centers are spot, and that's for those. They both run off of my high beams. Since I took my stocks out, the only low beam I have is that, and I wired them in with the blue wire. Blue wire is a high beam. Just I wired them straight up to it. These are some homemade skid plates that were on it from the previous owner. They're very useful, and the winch of course runs through there. But these things are pretty badass. Rocks and shit doesn't hurt it. It's only here, there, and there. There's nothing up under the main part. Now as for my frame, or my front suspension, it's still everything stock except for axles and disc brakes. I did the high lifter disc brakes because they're cheaper. Super ATV, yeah, Super ATV disc brakes, because they're cheaper than the high lifters. And the front diff, I bought a used one off of eBay. Turned out to be a pretty good diff so far. I went to Tractor Supply and got 2 I think it's 1.25 by 2 inch, 1/4 inch by 2 inch shims. There are bushings that go in there. They're the same size that high lifter sells, which are at $60 online. That is a forgot what kind of locker you call it, but once it's locked, there's no way to unlock it. And you gotta be, I mean, since this thing doesn't have power steering, it's pretty hard for it to steer now because it's fighting you constantly. It only wants to go in a straight line. But it does work, and it only cost me about $5, but it does require you to strip the whole differential apart into pieces and put it back together. And if you're not into that, then I'll do it if you live here locally for you, but turns out pretty good so far. I'm gonna do a video of testing it out with my new tires, the Outlaws. These Outlaw 1s, I got them out of a store in Atlanta. If you go on Facebook, I'm sure he's on there. He sells Blim tires. There's nothing wrong with these, seriously. If anybody's like, oh my goodness, Blim tires, you know they have issues. It's just printer issues, like High Lifter isn't written on these tires, so that it's marked out. It just says Outlaw. But they do pretty good. There's nothing wrong with those. Painted my suspension red and black and silver, of course. Got to do the rear. But the Boss speakers are 700 watts. I was wrong. I found the sticker down here. It's got a built-in amplifier system. Turned out pretty good. So they came with my buddy's four-wheeler. I don't know how much they were. I know for the light bar thing I did, I maybe spent $30, and it's very useful at night. I have a 360 light radius around me with the back one. I'm just got an 1.25 inch piping for the snorkels that they go up about that high above the handlebars. Even on the other side just stops at the plastic because only my hoses run through it. This side comes down, has an elbow, goes across and over, straight through, straight into the exhaust. There's no flex pipe, there's no nothing. It's just solid PVC piping that goes all the way through. And there's my new winch. And you can see better how my headlights are wired up. That red wire, as you see right there, that's going across, is for my winch. It's like a power switch to that switch up there I was showing you, so that way the winch only works when my high beams are on, so it just doesn't drain my battery down. But there's the brake, the new metal brake lines, stainless steel, you can see. And then they come down to the new disc brakes in the front. They're very easy to install. It comes with very good instructions. I repainted my motor. I got to change that orange to the same red up here. That can said it was red, and turns out it was orange. Kind of mad about that. And as for the back, I have storage boxes that are sold at Dunham's here in town. That's the brand. They're waterproof. I keep everything, even toilet paper I need, because you know people gotta take a shit a lot when you're out in the middle of the woods. And then the rear end is pretty much stock. I'm fixing to paint those two shocks silver, diff silver. And I might leave that silver or paint it red one. And I'm gonna leave the brakes long in the rear because I don't even need rear brakes. And I'm taking that off, putting the FO4 tractor muffler on. That's gonna be a Tractor Supply. And the wheels are 12-inch ITPs. There's the deep ones, 2+5 in the rear, 5+, no, that's 5+2. Those are 2+5 in the front. On 30 by 10 by 12 Outlaws. Or 29.5. 29.5 by 10 by 12, even all the way around. These are the Moose cage step bars. They were already on it with the four-wheeler. I don't even know where you would find those. But it's about all that's done to the four-wheeler. I don't know what kind of seat cover that is that came with it as well. But for the most part, this is my new build. And just for an idea of how tall it is, here's a 5-gallon bucket in front of it. Reason it won't go under, only reason, is that the skid plate hangs down a little bit too low. If the skid plate wasn't on, it would clear a 5-gallon bucket. It'd be very close, maybe a centimeter off, but it has about a 5-gallon bucket of clearance in the front. So if anyone's wanting to build an 01 Foreman, here's the parts done to mine. You know, if you like it, hope you guys enjoy. There'll be more videos coming soon. Thanks.